So as promised, a retro feel for the next couple of tunes. I've been chatting and also apologising for a few weeks now to Ali from a band that plays ska and reggae with a retro pop and new wave persuasion, whatever that means. I'm sure we'll find out. They're from Brooklyn, New York, and from what I can see, there's flipping loads of them in the band as well. Now, I am chatting to Ali and Danny now. They are the founding members, I believe, of the band Stop the Presses. Hello.
Hi.
Hello. Thank you for having us.
First of all, I'd like to thank you for being so understanding of my technical issues over the past few weeks. Because it's been, can you do this weekend? No, I'm sorry, I can't. My laptop's still on fire. Can you do this weekend? No, actually, I'm still trying to get all my files across. So I thank you very much for your understanding. But we're good now. And anyway, I've harped on about that for far too long already. So let's chat about you and Stop the Presses. From what I can tell, you are, is it approaching or you have reached 10 years of age? Is that correct?
We are turning 10 on Halloween this year. So this is 10 years as a band.
The very first Stop the Presses show was actually on October 30th. Because, you need weekends for big parties and stuff like that. But October 30th, 2010. We've always been really big fans of Halloween. We love Halloween in general. Before that, and even all through being Stop the Presses, we would always throw big Halloween party/shows. And they got bigger and bigger as the years went on. We went from buying 24 packs of beers to, renting out a warehouse and having 3 kegs that we floated at the end of the night.
Okay.
And they grew, they got bigger, and so did the spectacle. We started out just very simple, us playing with a DJ, and then we started adding bands, and then we started adding comedians and jugglers and sword swallowers and more of a carnival aspect to it. And then it got darker, crazier, and we started having dance performances all the way up to one year we released a self-produced musical that I wrote called It's Pronounced Nuclear. So they've just grown, and we've just been big Halloween people since the beginning, so it all works out.
So yes, so this year is our 10 year, and on Halloween we're throwing, it's because of COVID, everybody's home right now, but we are still celebrating the 10 year by throwing a Halloween party in our backyard that we're going to live stream. So it'll be a socially distanced performance from our full band, putting it on all platforms and playing our favorite Halloweeny songs, and so it should be really fun.
Yeah, it sounds good. Tell us about the band itself, because at the moment people might be listening going, well, who are you? How many people are in the band? What does each of you do? So should we try and cover that? Is that okay? Absolutely.
We are 6 members. It's primarily a 4-piece kind of, rhythm. You have guitar. Danny plays guitar. I play keys. We have a bass player and a drummer, Jack and Steve, very talented gentlemen. And then we have 2 background singers. Danny and I have always been big fans of traditional roots, kind of ska and reggae, Jamaican ska. And we really love ska that doesn't have horns. I mean, we love ska that has horns, so not anything against it, but kind of gives you parameters for your songwriting. And so with our lineup of 6 members, we get to use vocals in a really interesting way, as they did kind of in those old tunes and roots, so heptones and everything like that. So we really use the instrumentation to our advantage, showcase the voices.
It's interesting that you've gone for a sound without horns. In the past, I've spoken to bands who are like, we're hoping to get horn sections soon. And you're like, no, thank you. We're not interested. We've got another avenue to go.
Well, that should say, okay, because one of the songs that you're going to play today, Rude Skank, does have a saxophone solo by Dave Hilliard from the Slackers. And that's not to say that certain songs do, we hear it and then we go, okay, we got to get a sax on this. Do you know what I mean? So there are songs in the past, in past albums, where we have, featured trombone, or we've featured the sax or trumpet, but primarily, we try to keep it within, those parameters.
You kind of listen to Jackie Me Too, or you listen to, Toots. The really, really early Jamaican ska doesn't have horns. It was, I found this out much later on, but the Cubans had a lot. I'm Cuban. My parents are both from Cuba. I was born in Miami, but I consider myself of Caribbean descent. And in learning more about ska, I learned that the Cubans actually brought the horns to the jazz element of early ska I always tell everybody, Roland Alfonso is one of the founding members of the Skatalites, very famous tenor sax player. He's half Cuban, and they're dotted out throughout the whole thing. But originally, it was really primarily just keyboards and guitars doing a lot of the foundational work in those early tunes. And we kind of came from a band already with that sort of lineup. We were in a band that had that instrumentation, and we kind of just really liked the extension of that, like the guitar and the keyboard leads being, what you really focus on.
I think it's time then that we get on your first track that we're going to play. Can you tell us a bit about the song and then introduce us into it?
Great. So this song is Rude Skank. And it's just a rude song that you can skank to. And it's about having a good time, dancing with your honey, whoever that may be. And again, it features Dave Hilliard playing the sax solo on this one.
Stop the Presses plays on Offbeat Reggae Radio. The song is called Rude Skank. Now, I was reading your bio on Spotify, and I think that that song particularly really encompasses all of the elements that you mention in your bio. So a little bit of ska, a little bit of new wave, a little bit of traditional ska. I love it. Really, really like it. Well done.
Thank you so much.
Cheers. Thank you very much. We've had funny, that was the first single that we released off of Money in the Bank, and it was strange talking to people who aren't in the know of the ska community, because we live a life outside of ska, if you can believe that. We teach our instruments to little kids, explaining rude skank to people who have no idea that both of those words mean something different in the ska community is very funny to try to be like, well, rude describes like an energy or a vibe.
I always say to people, it's a type of dance.
And then skank is a dance that anyone can do, That's just always the funny thing with that.
We know about your past. We've covered the history of the band to an extent. What I'm interested in now is, what have you got coming up? What's planned for the future? What would you like to promote?
This month, we just released a 7-inch through Revolution Vintage, and it is an A-B side of Dub the Presses and Hugo Dub, 2 dubs that we asked Agent J from the Slackers to remix for us that were off of our album Money in the Bank that came out in 2019. So we just released that on vinyl. However, it is sold out, but it is still available for digital download on our Bandcamp. And that's been really, really exciting. And we will have a music video coming out very soon as well for Dub the Presses. We also want to talk about the rarity collection that we have now that we're coming up on our 10-year anniversary, to release some old tunes that Danny and I wrote in the very, very, very beginning of Stop the Presses. They didn't even really make it onto our first EP, Does It Still Look Pretty? But we did come across these songs, and they're really, really fun, and we think it's a great way just to show the lineage from the beginning of us as a band to Money in the Bank, which is an album that we really, really love. So we're going to release those starting next week in 2 sets, volume 1, 4 tracks, and then the other one will come out in November. We also would like to take this time to talk about our live stream happening on Halloween, 7 p.m. Eastern time. So I will 7 a.m.
That's like
so 11 p.m. for you folks.
Oh no! Do you know what? I completely fudged up the timing. I'm 5 hours ahead of you.
Oh my gosh!
I know.
So midnight.
I've been sat here for an hour. It's my own fault.
And also, but I would like to talk about too that we will be airing another special live stream performance for the specialized one. Well, the 2 Pauls have put this wonderful ISOFest, online music festivals, I guess was what we're calling it, and they did it in these past few months, and we had the opportunity to perform in a couple of them. Danny and I just did kind of some acoustic sets. I also, in addition to playing keys, I also play the accordion. So we did like an acoustic guitar accordion duo for a couple of those festivals, and then they just asked us to do the big one, the specialized big fest that I suppose it was supposed to be happening in the beginning of November, and unfortunately it'll have to be online as many shows are right now, but we're still really happy to be a part of it, to help to keep this wonderful music festival going, keep the project alive.
Absolutely. I mean, we need to support the artists that we love, and it's great that you guys are actually doing proactive things online when you can't actually get out in front of people. I've been listening to your album a lot in preparation for this interview, so much so that I might have got a little bit excited with my credit card about an hour and a half ago.
Thank you so much.
We saw that. Thank you.
That. We'll send you some other goodies too.
Oh, well, if you feel the need, that would be amazing. But yeah, I just saw that it was coloured vinyl. I went, ooh, that's exciting. And then liking the music, obviously, is a nice accompanying byproduct of having that too. So I look forward to that arriving as and when it does. But yes, right. We can talk about how people can get their own vinyl in a little bit. What we'll do now, though, is get ourselves another song on from your good selves. We've spoken about it already. Tell us a bit about it, and please introduce.
So Dub the Presses is the dub version of Stop the Presses, which is us kind of cheekily writing a political song, but it's from the standpoint of the opposition. We wrote this, we were just in the first few months of the Trump presidency, and he was just going off on all of the things that were being like unfair to him. You know what I mean? The media was just being so unfair, and he was painting everything in this light of just like, it's against me, it's against me, it's against me. And I thought it would be fun to write that song of we have to stop the presses, you know, because they're getting it wrong. We're the ones who are right, and they're the ones who are wrong. And that's what the whole like kind of vibe of the song is. It's supposed to be a little ugly. It's supposed to be a little like disjointed. And I think it all comes across really well. And then Jay picked it as one of the things that he wanted to dub out. And the dub is just, it's amazing. It's great. It like really lets you get the background vocals and the bass line and like all of that really fun nuance comes to the forward on the dub version. We just really love it. We do. We've been calling it for a while, like Press's Side of the Moon. It has this like very, you know, Pink Floyd Money kind of feel. And I think like, and Agent J even was commenting on that as well. Like you really feel that from the bass line. It's kind of driving the whole time. So this dub to us is very special. We really like it a lot. We love what Jay did with it.
Headlines, deadlines, terror at the borderline.
Dub the Presses from Stop the Presses. I still have the lovely duo that are Ali and Danny on the, I was going to say on the blower, it's Skype, but it feels like the phone, but there's video, I don't know. Never mind. Moving on. We're coming to an end, which is quite sad because you've been very happy, smiley people, and we've had a nice time. We're loving your music, so I'm looking forward to that vinyl turning up. In fact, I think we should let other people know where they can get hold of that too. You have a Bandcamp page that is linked to from your main website, so it makes sense to mention. StopThePressesMusic.com is where people can find out that little bit more about you. You're obviously on every major social media channel, as we have to be these days, and is a right pain in the backside because updating them takes forever. But what I'm going to try and do to make everybody's life a little bit easier as well is give you your own page on the Offbeat Reggae Radio website at offbeatreggae.com, and then that will have links to interesting places too. So if people want to listen to more, they can actually go to that page. I'll see if I can get some audio players up there if you're on Apple Music and that kind of thing. I'll also see if I can grab some videos from your YouTube account with permission, of course. An homage to yourselves on the Offbeat Reggae site. And
cheers, Andy. That's
Andy,
amazing.
Thank you so much.
That's
I appreciate
all right.
that.
No, well, I appreciate you guys talking to me. So every single person that I chat to gets their own page. It's a given.
I was blown away by your page. I mean, that's even how I like stumbled across Offbeat Radio. It was like just so, you know, just a great site. So thank you so much for that.
Oh, I appreciate that. I do everything to do with it. I must admit, my computer exploding was actually kind of a saviour, because I was like a year and 2 months into doing the show and just felt knackered. Because although I only do it twice a month, it's every day I'm doing something. So it's been nice to have a little bit of a break. But anyway, we're back to it, and if people do want to find out more about yourselves and your music, there'll be lots and lots of links from offbeatreggae.com. Now, before we launch into the influence track or the band that you think that we should listen to, is there anything else that you'd like to say, anything that you'd like to put across before I put the phone down?
Thank you so much for listening and following. They can find all of the links from the beautiful page that you have put together, so thank you for that. And just be sure to stream our performance on Halloween to see some fun and exciting music from us.
And please, everyone, find a way to love each other once a day, every day.
Bit of a hippie ending, but that's fine. That's okay.
Pretty hippy-dippy.
Right, well, anybody who's worth their salt will be up past midnight on Halloween anyway, so I'm sure that people will make the opportunity who are around here to have a watch of your live stream. Obviously, the show is played on multiple different stations across the world, which I shout from the rooftop at every available opportunity. So wherever people happen to be, keep an eye on the Stop the Presses Facebook page, and I'm sure that they will keep you up to date as to when it will be starting and that kind of jive. We will say goodbye, and we will end with the song that you have chosen. Now, I gave you an option. I said, can you please give me a musical influence, or can you please give me a track that you think that we should listen to? Which one did you choose?
This is a track that we think that you should listen to. It is by Crazy Baldhead, our dear friend Agent J of the Slackers, and this is Stowaway. It's one of our favorite tracks off of this release, the Go Oasis, which is a great album, by the way. Another one that we really, really like.
Nice one, guys. You take care of yourself. We'll play out with that, and I hope to keep in touch and speak to you soon.
100%. Thank you so much.
Thanks so much, Andy. Cheers.